How do you, well, this again, like the question about how do you plan what you're going to do, this also is it's a thing that there's no real formula. What tends to happen is that a part of an idea for a character will come to me. You know, I think I want to write somebody here who is sort of like this, but it's usually, in the early stages, it's kind of a placeholder. I mean, I might know, you know, sort of how old, what kind of background they have a little bit, you know, what they are going to bring to the plot, you know, whether they're going to be interesting because of the way they think or because of the interactions they have with other characters. But usually I have to write them and find their voice and find their behavior. So it's something that happens as I go along. Again, with the Bobby Dollar books, it was a very weird thing because the first time I sat down at the keyboard, Bobby's voice came out. Maybe because it's close to my own, but it just was very automatic. Oftentimes I really have to play with it. Those of you who've read my other books, or at least some of them, may remember a character, fairly well-known character in the Dragonbone Chair, Benedict the Troll. And he was really hard to find a voice for, because I wanted him to speak, and I mean literally a voice, because I wanted him to speak in a way that felt strange and a little funny, but not stupid or embarrassing, you know? And everything I tried, he kept sounding like Yoda, you know? God damn, I was tired of Yoda, you know? And I'd go, oh, well, maybe if he does this, and I'd do it, no, it's Yoda again, you know? Everywhere I turned, every rock I turned over, there was that little squishy green guy, you know? But finally, you know, I just tried something and it worked. You know, it felt like, okay, I can do this for a whole book. It'll be funny when he's supposed to be funny. It will be serious or even touching when it's supposed to be. So it was, you know, sometimes you have to experiment. And the same thing is true with their personalities. Sometimes you don't really know who they are until you have worked with them. And again, in the Dragonbone Chair books, the character of Cadrak, the monk, was just a walk-on character. He was only going to show up once, but he interested me. And so I brought him back for another scene. And he still interested me, and at this point I thought, well, if I'm going to have him in the story, he should tie into the main story somehow, and I began to create his background. But you know, what you see in the first two appearances he makes, that's how I wrote them, and I had no idea at that time that he would become one of the major characters. So you find by doing, at least me. You do it and you find out. Other? Okay, over here, and then we'll get to this side. We know you're there. No, you've been one of the best sides of the room all evening. We will get there. Yes?
Did you never get bored about a story you are in to write now?
I get bored of writing about every 6 or 7 minutes. I mean, this is why my downstairs office where I work is, you know, I've got musical instruments down there, I have comic books, you know, food wrappers. I mean, you know, I get up every few minutes. Also, I have kind of some back problems, so physically I need to actually get up every now and then and just walk around. No, but what usually bores me is when I'm doing a part of the book that I'm not as excited in others, maybe because I've known too long what was going to happen, and I've thought it over so much. And so when I feel bored, I say, I shouldn't write this. This is not right. I have to go and think of another way to make it exciting to me again, because I am afraid that the reader will feel my boredom. And I hate that feeling when I'm reading somebody else's book that they just put it in because they had to or they felt they ought to. You know, bad sex scenes, long traveling scenes where they're trying to establish that these people are unhappy and it's no fun, and but it's not fun to the reader either, because the writer didn't enjoy it. So when I am bored, that's a sign to me that I need to, when I'm bored by what I'm working on, then it's a sign to me I need to go back and rethink it and make it more alive. So. Oh, now none of you have your hands. Okay, good. We'll go front row, back row, so yes.
May I ask you, what did you do before you became an author, a writer?
You certainly may. The problem is that my lawyer won't let me talk about it. So. No, it's not true. Well, unlike a lot of people, I had no idea that I was going to be a writer. Unlike a lot of writers, I didn't come out of school saying, someday I will write a great novel. In fact, I don't think anything that anybody might call work had anything to do with what I was thinking when I came out of school. But once I had finished my relaxing years after graduating from school, I was doing many creative things that made me no money. I mean less than no money. That people used to come to my house and take money I already had away from me because of the art and the music and things I was doing. So, but I was always doing many things like that. I played in a band, still do, with the same people. I did theater. I was an artist. I did cartooning and illustration, and many things. And radio. I did radio for 10 years. So, because of that, and because of the fact that all of these things were so very, very financially unsuccessful, I always had to have another job. Unlike everybody else I knew, I did not go to university after school. I was not in a big hurry to do it. So I was working many jobs. So if you look on some of the book jackets, they will say things about, Tad Williams has had blah, 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 more jobs than any sane person should have. So, I mean, I threw newspapers, I delivered newspapers, I folded burritos in a little Mexican fast food place, I sold shoes, I was the branch manager of like a financial institution. I drew military manuals on how to properly sweep out a Chinook 47 helicopter. I just did many things for about 5, 6, 7 years after I was first out of high school. And then when I was about 25 or 26, I got very frustrated with things like music because I was very serious and very ambitious, and some of the people that I was doing things with were much more casual. It wasn't so important to them because they were doing it for fun, but I wanted to make a living. So at that point I got interested in writing because I could do it on my own time. And I wrote my first book. And was lucky enough to sell it. That was an English Tail Chasers song, Traumjäger und Goldfutter. I'm thinking of the Dutch version. The Dutch version is, Traumjäger und Goldfutter. And was my first book. And so once I sold that, and then they offered me money to do what became the Dragon Bone Chair, those books. Then I was thinking, oh, well, maybe this will actually be something I can make money and make a living out of that I love doing. And so from there on, I was more and more moving toward being a full-time writer. I still had a few more jobs, including working at Apple Computer, which is what led to the Other Land books. So I didn't really have a normal career in the sense that some people are writers, or some people are teachers, or, I was doing the scum jobs that nobody wants if they have any sense, so.